Hello, it's a hot one, like 7 inches from the midday sun. I've got a little bit of time to kill before going to kickboxing class, and it's going to be an absolute scorcher tonight. So I thought I'd make a quick video about the apparent war that is now going on YouTube amongst the KDPers. When I first started becoming interested in publishing through KDP, then I listened to actual authors, and what I was looking for in those days was information on how to create a manuscript, how to upload it, that kind of stuff. So that was where all my focus was. And of course, that was kind of disheartening in a way, because I was listening to a lot of people who were very well established and who had written a number of books. And then you feel like you're always going to be an also-ran. But obviously in this last 12 months, I've made videos on this, so I don't need to go into it, but I became involved in looking at what is considered low content and produced a couple of journals. So what I've noticed now, because I've been looking more at that kind of content, is the direction in which it is taking, in which it's heading. And it looks, it's not great, is it? Now it's becoming a bit of an us and them kind of thing. And of course, I'm in my own camp, aren't I? So there are camps that are set up all over the place now. And it's odd. It's a very, excuse me, press my own horn then. That was exciting. Yeah, so obviously I've got my own opinions and I'm in my own camp. But there's conflict between the camps. And I'm going to speak up for Sleepy Pilgrim here today. I don't know him. We're not friends. It's not as if we're meeting up and sipping tea together and, making wax effigies of people and sticking pins in them or anything. But I consider him to be a friend, since coming across his videos and, getting to know what his stance is and talking to him. He's really helped me a lot, and he is a helpful guy. He will help anybody. He's given me a lot of really good advice, but he's got his own style, and he's a very forthright person, and a lot of people like that, but he also takes some flack for it. But what he's against is the BS, the absolute BS that is being churned out now in the name of KDP. And it's really got nothing to do with publishing. So look, self-publishing is a separate entity all in its own right. People producing books and uploading them to KDP and doing all the necessary stuff in the marketing, that's an entity in its own right. But this other stuff, this low content and the KDP gurus and the battle then that has kind of commenced, that's nothing to do with KDP self-publishing. That's a world all in its own right. And so I think it's important to remember that. Somebody told me recently that this is an echo chamber, because I was saying quite wrongly, actually. I said it didn't used to be like this. And they said, oh yeah, but that's because you weren't focused on this stuff in those days. What you're in now is an echo chamber. And I thought, oh, that's true. So where our focus goes is what we pay attention to. That's true, isn't it? So I don't know where this entity is going to end up dying a death. This entity that is all about the battle and the competition between the KDP gurus who want to put out, for want of a better word, a lot of schmooze, and those who are feeling kind of quite peed off with it and quite offended by it. And I know you could say, well, live and let live, but I think if you feel strongly enough about something, then you're going to speak up about it. And so Sleepy Pilgrim recently uploaded a video which was quite funny, but which I also found really uncomfortable. Not his video, but watching what he was showing. I found that really uncomfortable, to be honest with you. It really peed me off. But a lot of people disagree with his standpoint, with his viewpoint. And I don't know why, but I do know that it's probably because, well, I think people who get really, really sucked into the KDP gurus who are pushing the low content books, I think they're a different breed than other people who are creating high content books, or, you know, whether they're novels, novellas, non-fiction. So I think there is a big difference. There is a big difference. And yeah, but it's listening to the content that people are putting out. And I've got to be honest, there are one or two people who are so popular, but really they're just like, it's like a craft group. It's like joining a craft group. It's not like joining a group that is intent on creating books for Amazon, actual books. It is more about crafts, isn't it? And there's nothing wrong with that, absolutely nothing wrong with that. But the two are getting tangled, and I don't think that they should. So there is a clear divide between those who are writers and who are working hard to produce books, be they non-fiction or fiction, and those who are producing activity books. And there's nothing wrong with producing activity books or colouring books or producing books through Canva. There's nothing wrong with it, but the two are very separate entities. And I think we need to remember that, and just maybe, you know, let those people who are doing their thing do their thing, and let those people who are doing their thing do their thing. But where someone like Sleepy Pilgrim comes in, and I will agree with him on this, the problem is the KDP platform has become a bit like the old not triangle, what do you call it? Pyramid marketing in the old days, where a lot of people might not have heard of it, but, you know, there was this big thing going on years ago in selling called, you know, pyramid marketing. And so one person would be making money off this person, one person would be then making money off that person, and it went down the line. Now, it's not exactly the same, of course, but there's only so much you can say in YouTube videos about publishing, say, for example, an activity book or a children's book. There's only so much you can say before you're saying the same things again and again. And so therefore, you're going to have to find something else to say. Excuse me. And a lot of these now are becoming about selling courses. Now, that's absolutely fine. But, you know, it's not really, they're not really being forthcoming or upfront about that. So by all means, sell a course. It doesn't mean to say that because somebody's selling a course that they really know anything about it, because anybody and everybody's making a course nowadays. And a lot of them are charging quite a hefty fee for it as well. And if people want to pay that, then they pay that. But you know, when we're watching a video that really the underlying point of it is to flog a course, surely we can see that. And so when someone like Sleepy Pilgrim speaks up and says, hang on a minute, this is BS, right? And which he does, then why is there such uproar, or why are people so upset? Well, that's because a lot of human beings love BS. They can eat buckets and buckets and buckets of it. Because if he goes and pokes a hole in how they're looking at things, then they're going to be a bit lost, because they've got hope that they too can end up, you know, being the way that this guru is projecting themselves. They can have that future too. But if somebody comes along and kicks the legs from underneath them, or pokes big holes in it, as I say, then all of a sudden they've got to start questioning it and doubting it, and they're going to get really upset about that. So I don't know what the answer to it is. I really don't know. But, you know, if you're going to put stuff out there, then somebody's going to comment. And it works the same way for all of us. People can leave nasty comments on my videos, and sometimes they have. And, you know, Sleepy Pilgrim's going to get people that don't like him for having a go at their favourite guru. And there are people who are really not going to like what the content of what some of these very popular KDP gurus are putting out there. That, you know, recently watching something in particular made me want to stick my fingers down my throat and throw up in a bucket. I'm not, you know, and I'm not exaggerating. I thought, oh, for God's sake, really, really. But a lot of people absolutely love it. But really, I suppose the point of all of this is that this entity of YouTube KDPing is taking on a whole new life of its own, and it's got nothing to do with publishing. It's got nothing to do with publishing. And so we'll all be in our own camp, won't we? And that's the way that it is. Yeah. So, yeah. I haven't got an answer to it. I haven't got an answer. But if people are going to be putting out information that is misleading, that is sycophantic, and is basically, complete self-promotion, but that is not actually maybe deserved, then if they're going to do that, then somebody's going to have an opinion about it. So, you know, and I know that people like nice. They just want things to be nice. And the last thing you could describe Sleepy Pilgrim as is nice. And I'm not a nice person either. I think I'm a decent human being. And I'm well-intentioned, and I've got people in my life who love me and, you know, all of that stuff. But am I nice? No, I don't think so. I don't think I do nice. And so people who like nice, they become very offended by people who don't do nice. And people who don't do nice become really chewed off with niceness. So it's a mixed bag, but it's bloody entertaining, isn't it? You've got to admit it's entertaining. Yeah. Anyway, so there you go. I better get moving now. Otherwise, I shall be getting into trouble off Sensei for being late. And we don't want that, do we? Okay.